Hey, Fae folk, welcome back. ShadWow High is back, and like I know we had seen pictures for budget dolls. I'm not trying to entirely discount that, Reese. You were being unreasonably cute right from the get go of this video. That's crazy. But we're getting like ShadWow High with big budget back. Like we're getting ShadWow High with really good designs back. And I have so many feelings. So these are two dolls that are going to be coming out, I think, later this year. I believe they're supposed to come out this year. We're getting two collector dolls. We're going to talk a little bit about that like label towards the end of the video, I think. But we are getting a Heather and a Shanelle. And I feel like everyone is just absolutely up in arms about these because they're really good. I can't even lie. Okay. If you guys have like seen some of my videos more recently where I've talked about Rainbow High, you'll know that I've sort of pared down my ShadWow High collection. I just feel like for some reason on the Rainbow High bodies, I sort of struggle with the fantasy skin tones that ShadWow High brings. These are like the traditional grayscale because they are characters from the first line of ShadWow High. But even like that and the other fantasy skin tones, like I just have a harder time with it. So I still have some ShadWow High dolls, the ones that are like so good that I don't care about the fantasy skin tones. And these might end up joining the pack because that's how good they are. So let's go ahead and take a look at Heather first. Real quick, I do want to talk about the boxes. I don't usually really talk about boxes in my videos just because I'm an out of box collector. Every single doll that I get, I open up because I like to have that tactile experience with them. So for me personally, like I just don't really care about boxes. Also, these are just my opinions. You're free to disagree. Just please be kind about it if you'd like to do that. Um, but I do think that these are kind of ugly boxes. And the only reason that I'm bringing that up is because, again, they are being marketed as collector dolls. And to me, like, not that you shouldn't have a nice looking box for a playline doll, because that's like its own sort of marketing. Like, you want to draw the attention of kids or parents or guardians that might see that and be buying it. And even like adult collectors, like some of us like to keep playline dolls in box, and that's obviously a perfectly fine way to collect. But when it comes to collector dolls specifically, I feel like there is a larger proportion of people who want to keep their dolls in the box and who view the box itself as like part of Faery, part of the doll, and like part of the allure of having it in their collection is like that the box looks nice. Maybe I'm just wrong, but I think the boxes are kind of ass. That being said, especially again as someone who doesn't care about boxes in general, I'm so glad that clearly the budget went to the dolls rather than the box. It's just, I don't know, it's just something I wanted to mention because I do think it's kind of funny that it's like, hey, here's a collector doll. Here's a very basic box. Honestly, it's kind of similar to the like Mycene collector dolls where it's like, come on now. Come on now. Anyway, though, looking at like the doll herself, because that's the part that I care about and also the part that is so much more stunning. Oh my God. Heather is definitely my favorite of the two. She is just incredible. We are going to take a closer up look at like the face and the hair and everything because there's like a more close up image. So I'm really going to just focus on the outfit while we take a look at this picture. I love the silhouette of this dress. I mean, big floofy. Of course, I'm going to like it. Like, I like the sheer effect of the fabric that is like the sort of bigger piece. I do think it's interesting that we have the bigger skirt and then like the smaller skirt underneath. I do wonder if that's going to be detachable. I don't think as of time of filming we've seen any photos of it being detachable. So maybe it's like all stuck together and that's not a thing, but like maybe it is. I don't know. I'm just kind of curious about that one. I'm so immediately drawn to that just because I think it's so fun to see a big voluminous skirt. Like it's always going to get me, assuming that it doesn't look flat. And this doesn't look flat, which is super duper lovely. I also really like that they used the snakeskin not only on that sheer fabric of the skirt, but also sort of on this like open zippered bustier portion of the dress. I'm just assuming it's a dress. It could be different pieces, but again, I'm just judging based off the photos that we have. But I really like that because it does call back to Heather's original doll and her original design. So I just think that's fun because it definitely makes it feel like here's Heather, but really intensely elevated, like for a runway sort of style. I like the fact that there's like almost two layers to the bust of the dress where like there's this zipper portion that's like it looks like it's hitting like halfway across the boob, and then the other like black underlayer goes up a little higher. I think that's very interesting. My least favorite part by far of this outfit, like the only thing that I don't like is the shorter skirt portion. I just think like something about the fabric, at least in the photos, it might look better in person. That's one of those things that it can be kind of hard to tell. But at least in the photos, the fabric looks a little cheaper compared to the other fabrics that are surrounding it. And I also think the length and like the cut is a little bit awkward. Like I'm just staring at it and I feel like it's almost shaped like an upside down tulip is kind of what it's reminding me of. And I think that that cut can be done very nicely, but I just don't know if I feel like it fits everything else that's going on. I mean, it's surrounded by zippers and snakeskin and like grommets and like all of this crazy, like super edgy stuff. And then that, I don't know, it's just, it feels a little bit weird. And I also do think it's just something about the length. It's not even that I mind a good knee length skirt. Like I will absolutely take it. Because I mean, most of the time with dolls, we do tend to get short skirts. So like 99% of the time, you're not going to see me being like, bring it up just because that's easier to find. Like it's very easy to find a doll in a mini skirt, right? Whereas like a longer skirt can be a little bit harder to find. Not that this is super long, but y'all know what I'm saying. But I just think that maybe like the contrast between the sort of overskirt and the underskirt would read better for me if this wasn't nearly knee length. I don't know. That's the part that's sort of tripping me up. I think because I do want to get this doll. I'll probably end up maybe altering that in some capacity to like fit a little bit differently. It's obviously not a deal breaker, but that's like my one critique for her. And then she's got these boots with little painted chains. The boots are kind of there. I don't have a ton of feelings about them. I think that they match fine. I don't think they're outstanding, but I'm certainly not complaining. But the face and the hair, that's what's really getting me about this doll. Y'all, this is crazy. Heather has a septum ring. And I love it so, so much. It is so pretty. It looks like it's like a proper 3D sort of situation. It's not just like a, I feel like painting on a septum ring would be quite difficult, but also I wouldn't put it past some doll companies to just paint it on to try to cost save, right? But it looks like it is like an actual 3D sort of septum ring, and it looks so fabulous on her. I mean, obviously, as a septum ring haver, I'm a fan of it. Like, it is genuinely one of my favorite piercings. I've had more piercings in my life than I have currently, but out of all of them, the septum is the one that I can never, ever let go of. Like, I used to have my tongue pierced. I had two, actually, two tongue piercings, and I ended up retiring those. I took them out, even though like sometimes I do regret it, but they would irritate the top of my mouth no matter what sort of balls I put on the end. Like I could do the silicone, I could do metal, I could do flat, like it didn't matter. I would just like have moments where they would bother the roof of my mouth. So it was like, okay, I love these, but they've got to go. You can pry my septum ring off of my cold, dead body. I'm not getting rid of it. Like, it doesn't matter. It's my favorite piercing. And I didn't think it was going to be that way when I got it. So, tangent aside, I love, love, love seeing Heather have it, especially because, like, obviously my knowledge is not the end all be all when it comes to dolls. That would be very presumptuous of me, but I cannot think of a single other doll that comes stock with a septum ring. Maybe Manny Tor, the collector doll from G1 of Monster High, because he had like the whole bull head, but I don't think he did either. I think that's just my brain projecting that onto him. I think that's fake. But like, what other doll has a septum ring that comes stock? What? Like, that's so incredible, and it's executed so well, and I just love her so much. The face in general, I think, is very, very beautiful. The earrings, they're kind of iffy for me. I do think they look a little bit cheapy in comparison to some of the other stuff that she's got going on, but like not enough for me to hate it. And also I do understand that like the budget has to ebb and flow in different areas. And then her hair, this is fabulous. Fabulous hair. I'm obsessed with the way they've created like a very blocky gradient out of these different grays in her hair. It looks so absolutely sick. And I do think it's a fun play on her original doll that had like a few different shades. I think I can't see her. I think it might have just been black and white. But so I think this is like a fun, again, elevation of that, a fun little twist and a nod to that original design where she already had multiple colors of hair. And it's just like, let's add some more in there. It's so Good, so cute. I love her so much. And peep the wrist articulation. That's wild. I am extremely glad that for a collector doll, it seems like we're getting that back. I don't expect them to bring that back to Playline anytime soon. Fingers crossed that it happens eventually. I'm not really holding my breath, but I'm very grateful that for a collector level doll, we're getting that back because good God, I miss Rainbow High dolls and Shadow High dolls having wrist articulation. So like Heather, a few things here or there that I'm not like a super big fan of, but I'm so beyond excited that she is coming out. I do think I like Shanelle just a little bit less just because her outfit is less for me, but there's a lot of good about her outfit too. So let's go ahead and take a little look-see at her. Again, we're going to focus on the outfit first, and then we'll do hair and face sort of together in like the more close-up picture. I do think like her outfit is a little bit less dramatic than Heather's. Like, I mean, obviously Heather's skirt was huge, but while it is like, oh, okay, like this is like a little bit less going on, maybe, I am glad in a way that they don't have the exact same silhouette because I feel like that would also be very boring. And just knowing how doll companies have gone in like the past several years, I do fear that if we had gotten like another really gown type of thing for Chanel in an effort to not have the same silhouette, they would have given her a mermaid dress. And I feel like a lot of us are very sick of mermaid dresses. So I will acknowledge that this does look a little bit less extravagant than Heather's dress, but I kind of am vibing with it. I do think that the like top piece with these big poofy sleeves is quite cute. She's got sort of like it's almost like a corset, but like a top layer of a skirt too. I don't really know how to describe it. I think it's pretty obvious that I'm not a fashion expert, but that is sort of a like tweedish material, which I'm never a huge, huge fan of. Like, I'm looking at the top pieces here, like the top sort of components, and it's like, I can look at them and say, that is a fun design. That is an interesting design that will appeal to people. I just don't know that I love it. And so I'm like, do I want her? Because there are other things that I adore about this doll. But I'm just not sure about that one. The like most underlayer of the dress or skirt or whatever the situation is here is more of like a sheer fabric. And I do really, really like that part. I also love that there are little bows along the bottom of the tweed portion that sort of like hang down, like the end strands hang down. And I just think that's like a cool little visual effect to get all the layers. I think her shoes are kind of butt. I can't lie. Like Heather's were nothing special to me. They're just boots. They're just sort of there. But I think the color is what's off here, or maybe it's just like missing some painted detail. Because I know it is like a thing for people. I don't wear heels, but I've heard that it's a thing for people who wear heels that sometimes they'll wear a shoe that is like their color of nude to really give the illusion of like the leg being super duper long. So maybe that's what they were going for. Because I mean, with it being Shadow High, with them having like grayscale skin tones, Chanel is like literally black. And then the shoes are also like the exact same shade of black. So for me, I'm looking at it and I'm like, they sort of disappear on her, but maybe that was the intention. Maybe she's doing that thing where she's like wearing the heels that are the same color as her skin so that her leg looks really, really long. I don't know. I think that maybe like across like the strap on the toe, a little bit of painted detail just to like have a pop of something would have been nice. But now that I say it like that, I'm kind of like, maybe that is what they're going for. I don't know. They're not my favorite. Even if that is what they're going for, I think that can like explain it, but I still don't necessarily like it because I just would prefer a little bit more contrast for her. So the outfit's kind of hit or miss for me. However, moving to the hair and the makeup, this is why I'm still like, do I want her anyway? Because this doll is so unreal gorgeous. Like, she's so pretty. First off, she does have the same like hair coloration situation as she does on her original doll, where she's like mostly the black hair and then has like a little streak of white and like the white edges and everything. But this time she's been given full micro braids all across her head. Come on up, baby. You can come back up. Good jumping. Wow. And I do think that that is a fun way to sort of add something to her hair. Again, like Heather got extra colors added onto her hair, and then Chanel gets like the same colors, but she gets like a more intricate, like protective style. And I just think that's really, really fun that they both definitely have sort of their signature style. Are you leaving already? Okay. That's fine. But there's just something extra to it. Like, I think that's really, really fun. The styling of the braids too is really cool. We've got like a few loose pieces, a lot of like braids in a bun there. I think micro braids in a bun are so, so beautiful. Like, it looks so good. I love it. A little bit like done almost as like a bang to the side. That's all absolutely fabulous. And her face, y'all, this is crazy. The eyes and the eyeshadow are so, so stunning. Like, just with the way that Rainbow High eyes are shaped, like how the irises are so big and everything, the fact that her eyeshadow is like the same color as her iris, it really just sucks you in. It's like, look at her eyes. It's so striking and so gorgeous. And then her lips are ever, ever, ever so slightly blue toned. She's so pretty, y'all. She's so pretty. So I'm struggling because I don't know that I like her outfit enough to where I'd want to keep her in it. And I already am like iffy about ShadWow High dolls, but I cannot stop staring at her face. Like, I know I should move on and talk about the collector aspect and like the price and everything, but I just, oh, she's so pretty. I don't know. That's a problem for later me. That's a problem for later me. I don't actually have to decide that right now immediately because we don't have any information on where these are going to be released or um like when they're going to be released exactly. Like I said, I think they're supposed to come out at some point this year, but as far as like will it be September, will it be November, I have no idea. So yeah, that's a problem for future me. But we do have some alleged information on the price tag. And so that's where I want to talk about sort of like the collector label and the price and everything. Because these dolls are supposed to be like, again, this is allegedly, things are definitely subject to change prior to them coming out, but they are rumored to be $30. And I have very mixed emotions on that because on the one hand, I'm like screaming and jumping for joy because we're having a return to form at that point, right? Like you're getting a doll that has like all of the full articulation and the inset eyes and the nice hair and like these big detailed outfits for $30. And I do think that that is like, especially given where dolls are at now and where Rainbow High specifically is at now, that's more than fair. Like a $30 collector doll. Collector is like an interesting label to put on a $30 doll because I feel like that's still sort of play line, maybe like a deluxe play line, but still sort of play line. But again, I'm not gonna like complain about it, right? Like if we can manage to get a collector doll like that for $30, I am a happy camper. However, one, I honestly very much doubt that they are going to maintain that $30 price tag. Like I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong in this scenario, but I very, very much doubt that they are going to remain $30. Even if they do, though, I still have a bone to pick. Maybe that's just because I'm an asshole and I like to fight about things and complain. But I think it's kind of valid because if we can get that for $30, what the is happening with everything else that Rainbow High is doing? Like, I understand that it is like a rebrand. They're aiming it at younger kids. They're doing like the slime gimmick and everything. But I think if you have that be the whole rebrand and it's like, yeah, we're fully pivoting, this is what we're doing, this is what we're making, it might suck. Like it might not be the most fun because it's definitely not Rainbow High like at its peak. But I can at least sort of see where they're going, where they're like, okay, maybe older kids like aren't playing with dolls as much. We need to target a younger audience. Again, not that I have to like it, but I can sort of see it. But if you're going to give us these like collector dolls for $30, that's what, like $5 at most cheaper than the other Rainbow High dolls that are coming out. And those dolls are full of like the gimmick. Like so much of the budget is being put into the gimmick. They all don't have wrist articulation. And a lot of them, because they have like the glitter legs or the slime legs or whatever, don't have knee articulation either, or even like a lot of hip articulation. Like I know we lost the rotation in the hip. So if that's what you can get for 25, maybe even $30 at this point, I haven't checked like the price tags of Rainbow High in a minute. And then you can also get a collector doll with everything we just saw for $30. I just don't see why we can't be getting at least some Rainbow High dolls that are like, hey, these are deluxe dolls that don't look like that. And like, I've been someone who has, to a certain extent, defended the reboot. Like, I definitely hate a lot of it, but also I still think there are some dolls that they've made that are really, really nice dolls. Like, I don't hate every single thing that the reboot has done, but I think that, like, if you're still going to give us these dolls, even if they're under the label collector, if there's the same sort of price range, that makes the rebrand sort of feel almost insulting. Where it's like, hey, we're still capable of doing this amazing stuff. We just aren't going to. Like, I sort of viewed the rebrand as, for whatever reason, they weren't able to sustain what they were doing. Maybe like the costs went up. Not that like I actually think that MGA needed to cost cut. I think they would have been fine with slightly lower profit margins. Okay. But from the company perspective, I could sort of see like it costs too much to make these dolls with all this detail. It costs too much to have the wrist joint, or like if we're aiming at younger kids, the wrist joint can become maybe a little bit of like a choking hazard, but then also we're going to give them resin. So what the fuck is going on there? Sorry, I'm getting like a little bit heated here. It's just really bizarre. But yeah, like I can see the rebrand being like, okay, we're aiming at younger kids. Like we're going to, worry a little bit less about the joints and everything. We're going to do more gimmicks. I can see where that came from, but I can't see why they would then be like, hey, just kidding. We actually were fully capable of making two versions of this. Like you can still have the rebranded dolls that are made more for kids, but like you still could have kept producing dolls that are on the level of these ShadWow High dolls. Like you're showing us that you're capable of doing that. So if the price tag goes up, which I don't want it to, it's not that I want it to go up, but if it does have to go up and it's like, oh, actually these dolls are $45, at least at that point, I'm like, I understand why the Playline Rainbow High dolls don't have the option of having this quality, because MGA is saying that they are unwilling to produce dolls of that quality at that price tag. Like they're unwilling to have that profit margin. But if they are $30, then I feel like there's absolutely no excuse to only be making like slime dolls. Again, I get if they want to have that as like part of their marketing, but if you can make these dolls for $30, like you can sell them and make a profit for $30, you could have had all this time more like deluxe or nicer versions of Rainbow High dolls on the shelves that are Playline dolls. You could have done it along with the slime, so you could have still like pulled in that younger demographic. Like there's no reason to be getting rid of all the shit that made Rainbow High popular in the first place. If you're just going to come back, what, 1 year later or 2? I can't remember how long it's. I think it might be 2. I'm going to say 2, I'm sorry. But like if you're going to come in 2 years later and be like, hey, just kidding, we actually could have done this all along. Especially because now we also have like prices of everything going up because of the tariffs. So if these dolls can come out at $30, there's just literally no excuse for everything on the Rainbow High shelves to be the quality that it's at. So like on the one hand, I want these dolls to be $30 because I want to be able to get amazing dolls with good quality for a reasonable price tag. But on the other hand, I feel like that's almost like rubbing salt in the wound if they do that. So I don't know. It's kind of like a weird situation. I'm probably thinking way too much about this, but those are the thoughts that have been on my mind. So obviously I had to spit them out at you all. I hope you had fun with that. Obviously I do need to know your thoughts on these dolls in the comments. I want to know aesthetically, but like especially regarding the price. Like, do we think it's going to stay the same? How are we feeling about that? Like, is that weird? Is that beneficial? I don't know. I'm really, really nosy to see what you all think about the price tag, especially because that's the part that has me like locked in. Not that the dolls themselves aesthetically aren't like gorgeous and worthy of being like locked into, but that's just the part that like my nosy little brain is focused on. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But those are finally all of my thoughts that I wanted to share today. Again, I do hope you guys were able to enjoy. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night, whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye guys.